Alright guys, I'm back here, Adrian here. So, we are mixing rock and metal snare drums. Now, I've got the same mix I did in our last video. It's called Dilatory. I could even say that, probably. And now let's go listen to the mix once again. So it's a nice punchy snare drum. It's got quite a lot of body and quite a bit of attack to it as well. I'll solo the snare drum. This is what it sounds like with processing. And I'll turn off the processing. You can hear what it sounds like. Enjoy. Now there are two tracks here at the snare. There's a snare top and a snare bottom. So I'll play the snare bottom with it as well. Here the snare bottom, it's just got a little bit more of the wires underneath it. And when it's combined together, it just adds a full picture of the entire snare. Here, yeah. Just got that, yeah, full picture of the entire snare. So in a big dense mix, it does help to have that extra bottom mic. Yeah, so let's just focus on the snare top at first. I'll show you what we're doing here. So, got again the SSL J channel and a high pass at 80 Hertz. And so if you can see here, I've also got a high pass at 80 Hertz on the bottom track, because high passing, it was also a phase shift as well. So it is important that when you are using multiple microphones on the same source, that they are all in phase. And by high passing something else that's not, the same amount of frequency to the other track, you are changing its phase. And can yeah, like lose bottom end and do all those other problems that phase has, cone filtering, etc. So I made sure that I did that. We won't move on that yet. So we've got the high pass filter and adding some top end at 8K. Just some presence, bring some air, just a bit of life. This is about it. Just sounds a bit dull. That just makes it sit forward in the mix a bit. And you can hear the high mids. Yep. Anywhere from 5K, 4 to 5K. Again, just a couple dB boost there. Helps it stand out in the mix. And I'm adding 200 here. Usually find around 150 to 300. It's a good area just to add some more body to the snare. You don't want to try and get it too boomy and too muddy, because then it will lose clarity in a full dense mix. But you still want it to have just some weight to it. Here I'll take it away and it will start to lose a bit of its size. You heard that when I had it off, it just sounded a bit thin. So I kept that back on there. I'm not using any compression on the channel. I am using the gate. So put it back on. Here's with the gate off. it's not doing too much, but it's just cleaning a little bit of the cymbal wash, and it's just focusing a bit more on the attack of the snare drum. So I got the range at 40 dB, so that will reduce more of the background noise on the gate, and the release time to about a second and a half. The more that I make it quicker, the faster that the gate's going to close. So you want to find a nice sweet spot where you still got all the sustain from the snare hit, but it doesn't chop it off, or in reverse, it doesn't let other instruments go through, like the hi-hat or the cymbals, or kick drum bleed. So that's something to toy around with. And then next, I'm using saturation. You can use tape saturation, you can use tube saturation, any kind of saturation plugin. This is a free one from Softtube. It's just called Saturation Knob, and this is what it does on its own. It is a perceived level boost. However, it's not actually a peak level boost. It's more of an RMS level boost. You can really crank the hell out of this thing and get it to really distort and drive. You heard when I turned it up all the way, it was really distorting, and that can be pleasant. You just got to find the right sweet spot. And I'm using a 1176 compressor here. This is a CLA one. Got the ratio to 4:1. Relatively fast attack and slow release. I just love what it does here in snare drums. It just really adds more punch. You see the 3 dB gain reduction. That's just about enough. I got on the black key setting here. That's about it. Just makes the attack stand out a little bit more. That's what I find. And then this is a cool plugin from Waves. This is Vitamin. It's a sonic enhancer. So what this can do is it can bring out either the low, whatever part of the frequency spectrum you want. You could add more lows and more low mids, more high mids, more highs, and more punch. So I found that just something like this can really add more of what you want to the instrument. So it's quite subtle, but you can get really dramatic with this plugin and change the tone. I just found that in this mix, I didn't need too much of it. I just wanted to add a little bit more of that low mid bodiness from the snare drum. And I've decided to also use another saturation plugin. This is the oligarch drive. So this just basically one knob, turn up the drive, and it just adds more sustain. That's about it. Yeah, I really found that saturation plugins work great on drums especially, but snare drums for sure. So I've just played the mix here again. Alright, now the bottom snare. Again, we got the Waves SSL-G channel here. Again, like I said, the 80 Hz high pass filter. It's just 3 dB boost, high shelf, 8K. And taking out a bit of 500 bit of boxiness. So this is what it's like on its own. I've got a gate here. This is with the gate off. You could hear a bit of kick drum in there. And I decided to drive the input here. This is modeling the analog desk of the SSL. And by driving the input here, you can get some nice harmonic saturation as well. Which will do similar things to this plug in here, the saturation knob. It's a nice way to replicate hitting the desk hard on an SSL. So there's that. There's compression going on here on the desk. Yeah, a bit more heavy, up to 6 to 10 dB. But yeah, that's just pumping the bottom snare. And when you add it together with the top snare, you can really add some heat. Again, I'll play it with the whole track. Alright, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you want to see more mixing tutorials. Let me know what you think. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you very much.